Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Waste to Wealth. We're on to Macro Monday. Lots happened in the market last week, including some filings from some famous investors. This week we have earnings coming up for Nvidia and a few other names in particular. So I wanted to jump into some of what happened last week and then what's going to be happening this week in the world of earnings. So over the week, we did have a relatively weak market. You saw a lot of volatility, and you've seen kind of some drawdowns in some primary risk assets, including Bitcoin, as well as a number of equities. For example, Oracle. And there's been this really interesting duality of, um, I guess, bearish news and sentiment with also capitulation of asset managers. If we take the example of Cyan Asset Management, Michael Burry, his hedge fund is closing down, and that is due to his inability to be in sync with the markets. And for that reason, he may be taking a step back or just starting to manage his own book. Recently, he filed a 13F filing early, which kind of makes sense given that he's closing the hedge fund down. He'd be reporting early just to get everything cleaned up. But during that time, he had some puts and he spent approximately $9 to $10 million on options premiums, which, based on when he filed, when he would have most likely made that trade, those options would probably be close to worthless or very drawn down most of your premium in that recent run up. Now, obviously, the market's reversed since that filing came out, but ultimately, it seems like this bull market is too much for Michael Burry, and he is the latest bear to get slayed. Um, Now, typically, it's quite ironic that at the end of market cycles, perhaps the most bearish and most well-known bears get taken out of the game just before there is the volatility that they predicted. But another interesting turn of events, which I'm actually really excited about, and I think it's a little bit too late coming, but anyway, Berkshire also filed, which has affected the Acuity tracker, which has the Berkshire top 10 for the 13F filings. And we have a new entrant into the top 10, which is Google. Buffett basically purchased about $4.6 billion worth of Google. And that is now 1.66% of his total portfolio. But in our top 10 tracker, we scale the top 10 holdings to 100%, which is about 86% of Buffett's portfolio. So what that means is Google in the top 10 tracker represents 1.88% in a target weight, which is scaled to that filing. So it's really exciting to see Google make it into the top 10 Berkshire kind of holdings. It's quite interesting because it's a new tech entrance into the portfolio. But I really like it. I think that it's additive, and I believe there's the previous company that was there. I wasn't too excited about, and I think that that's quite a nice move. And perhaps Google or Alphabet will be known in the future as a futuristic Berkshire Hathaway. They have so many subsidiaries and so many great different businesses within their company. Yeah, really exciting to see that happen. Obviously, we have to note that Berkshire also has a extreme amount of cash. I think it's about $380 billion in cash that they're sitting, or cash and cash equivalents. Moving on then. So this week we have a number of earnings. This is kind of the tail end of the earnings season. So we've seen much of the action. Obviously, we've seen some big moves up and some big moves down throughout the um, latest earnings season. And this week we have Home Depot, Intuit, Palo Alto Network, Baidu, and Nvidia, amongst many, 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 many others. But these were the ones that I thought were interesting to check out for the coming week. They're kind of got a nice range of consumer exposure, business exposure, AI, and software kind of trade, and then I'm also interested in just Baidu in general, just to keep looking at how it trades, given its valuation relative to US equivalents. But I guess most of the market will be looking at Nvidia this week. Obviously, they've been smashing it. I think what could be interesting is how the balance sheet evolves over time, especially with all this financing. And is there any interesting information we can garner from either the kind of cash flow or the balance sheet itself? I guess time will tell. So Nvidia this week, we'll see if the market likes what it hears, likes what it sees, and we'll get a good idea of how the company is going to be forecasting going forward. So it's going to be quite a good one. So this one is the one to watch. I think it's reporting on Wednesday US time, Thursday. Let's check that out actually. Earnings Hub's quite a good place to go for earnings. It's got a really cool calendar. And yeah, so Wednesday US time after close, which is Thursday in New Zealand. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys report. Cool. Awesome. Well, I will see you next week. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what goes on. See you later.